Hey, what's up, everyone? So, are you considering using the ketogenic diet or the keto diet for your autoimmune disease? Well, if you are, I think you're on the right track, and I'll get back to that subject a little further in the video. It seems like the first question that I get from people when I encounter them in regards to the ketogenic diet is the keto diet safe? And I find it funny that it even crosses people's minds, considering that the average person eats the standard American diet, or what I would call the SAD diet. Likely the unhealthiest diet on earth. What do we eat? We processed foods, high processed carbs, lots of sugar. We pretty much eat processed garbage for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything in between. We have an epidemic of disease and illness. We have an epidemic of obesity. And we have one of the unhealthiest nations in the world. Yet we consider the safety of the ketogenic diet. What's the big difference between the two diets? It's one difference, and it makes a big difference. The ketogenic diet dramatically reduces processed carbohydrates and your carb load in general. And that one thing helps people improve their disease states when they're suffering from disease. It helps people reduce body fat and increase their well-being. So do I think it's safe? I definitely think it's safe, and I actually think it's probably one of the healthiest diet approaches that's currently available. It seems like everywhere you look right now, the keto diet's trending. People are talking about it, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's in social circles, at the gym, you name it. The keto diet's becoming a fad diet, but when it comes down to it, it's nothing new. What is it, Atkins 2.1? There's been a lot of low-carb diets. A lot of the ancestral diets are low-carb. Keto diet's just really repackaging and rebranding the fact that you achieve nutritional ketosis through eating low-carbohydrate diet. But I do get it. It's for the sake of hyping it up and popularizing it, whether it's to sell you products, you name it. And I'm all for that because it talks about the diet. But I don't want anybody to think it's a fad diet, because it really can work and it really can change the state of your health. But I want you to think of the diets that have worked for many people when it comes to healing from autoimmune disease, whether it's Crohn's disease, colitis, lupus, MS, many of the diseases, rheumatoid arthritis. Think about the diets that have worked for other people. SCD, GAPS, Paleo, Life Without Bread, the anti-Candida diet, and Gerson Therapy. Really, the carb allowances might be different for these diets, or the carbs that are included. But the healing common denominator is the fact that carbohydrates are restricted. The carb load is dramatically reduced. And ketosis is achieved by reducing or eliminating carbs, not eating high fat. That's a misconception. I know this through lots of experience and trial and error. I've been doing the keto diet for 3+ years, and I've also been doing intermittent fasting for 5+ years. And I know that I can achieve verifiable ketosis via P-strip using a variety of approaches. I can do the carnivore diet, whether it's high-fat or low-fat carnivore diet. I can do the typical ketogenic diet using macros like 75, 20, and 5, or I can do intermittent fasting using splits of 16 and 8 or 20 and 4. All three of those approaches, I can achieve verifiable ketosis. So it's not just high fat. The key factor there for getting into nutritional ketosis is eliminating or reducing carbohydrates. And really the magic in keto, or the magic in the ketogenic diet, especially when it comes to improving from a disease state, is the fact that it removes a lot of garbage and minimizes things when compared to the standard American diet. And these would be things like reducing or minimizing carbohydrates, reducing or minimizing sugar, gluten, processed foods, hydrogenated vegetable oils, or what other people call PUFAs, reducing milk consumption, and for the most part, minimizing or reducing high-carb junk food, chips, and cookies. And you know what? When you enjoy this lifestyle, there's a lot of benefits. And for myself, I've experienced a lot of benefits over the last 3 years. And here are just a few of the benefits that I've experienced so far. Elimination of joint pain. I have no joint pain, guys. And at different times in my life, I've had crazy, whether it's from the overdoing the gym in my shoulders, my elbows, my knees, you name it. I have none. No joint pain. I've stabilized energy. And you know what? I work a physical job all summer. And like I mentioned earlier, I do keto and fasting. So I work a physical job and I don't eat during my work shift. People are amazed with the fact that I work all day and I don't eat. But this is what happens when you're tapped into fat for energy. I also noticed that my mental cognition is dramatically improved. And you might be wondering, it's not just the fact that you're using ketones for energy. It's the fact when you eat, what do you think all your blood is doing when you eat? Instead of being in your brain, which is where a lot of the blood in your body is, it rushes to your gut to digest food, therefore taking away from your computing power of your brain. And you know what? I always feel mentally stable when I'm using the ketogenic diet. Another thing is I notice clear skin. I never break out. I always have clear skin. I don't experience any blemishes or any rashes. I get awesome sleeps. And not just, I've always been able to fall asleep pretty quickly in the last few years, but what I noticed is the quality of my sleep. So if I sleep for 6 hours, it's an awesome 6 hours that I go into REM sleep and I sleep really good. And I wake up, I feel refreshed. I also noticed that it's very easy to stay lean. I used to overdo working out 5 to 7 times a week, all the time, doing a bunch of yo-yo dieting, and it never worked. Doing the ketogenic diet with fasting, I can stay lean without issue. I work out 2 to 3 times a week. I don't do constant cardio. My kind of cardio is grabbing a coffee from McDick's or Starbucks and walking by the river and enjoying my walk, not running and sweating. And I still stay very lean and ripped with minimal effort. It's really just being effective. I think I love the ketogenic diet and I love doing it, but I think one of the biggest issues is how do you overcome the adherence issue when it comes to keto? So how do you stay the course? It seems like when I encounter people, one of the biggest issues for most people is the fact that they find it really hard to adhere to the ketogenic diet for long periods of time. It's like they fall off the bandwagon. And I get this because I really think that it goes against human nature to not eat carbs when they're in front of you or when they're in season, such as fruit, you name it. That's definitely hard. So the way that I've been able to do the ketogenic diet for 3+ years and get away with this and have awesome benefits and successfully utilize keto is the fact that I do a cyclical version of the diet. And what I mean by that, so I do something called the cyclical ketogenic diet, what I'd call CKD. This means that I pretty much go strict keto for 5 days, and for 2 days, I eat what I want. I don't feel bad about it, I eat what I want. If I want some pancakes, I eat some pancakes. But remember I said I do intermittent fasting. So even on those so-called cheat days, I fast. So I pretty much have one meal and a snack. But I don't feel bad about whatever I decide to eat that day. I don't feel bad. Like I said, if it's pancakes, a pizza, a hamburger, some chips, you name it. But it really is hard to overeat too much when you only eat those 1 to 2 meals a day compared to eating all the time. I find that using the ketogenic diet in a cyclical fashion, it makes it sustainable. It makes it part of your lifestyle. It doesn't make it some kind of deprivation diet, or it's like some kind of crappy deprivation diet where you're always having to not have foods and feeling like you're missing things. But really when it comes down to it, for me, all I'm doing is prolonging the fact that I can eat whatever I want on the 2 days that I choose to be my cheat days or cheat meals, whatever you want to call them. I think the best diet really is one that you can adhere to, one that becomes your lifestyle. And it's not a diet, because when you say the word diet, that pretty much implies that you're going to stop it at a certain point. If you guys are reading this or you guys are watching this video, leave a comment. Let me know how you guys adhered to keto, how it changed your autoimmune disease. Did it help you? What are tweaks you used? If it didn't work, let me know why it didn't work. Maybe I can offer some suggestions. As usual, guys, I appreciate the support. Thanks a million. Thank you so much for your time and consideration and your participation in those comments.
Are you tired of feeling crappy? Get my free healing guide. Tips, tweaks, and hacks. Click the description for more information.